If you're watching this right now, then I know that you're trying to decide on how and whether you should make a pilgrimage like I've made many times to Camino de Santiago. I'm going to explain how you make that decision and how you get started. I'm Jeremiah Gibbs. I'm the Camino guide. I've led over 90 pilgrims on over 18,000 miles of Camino, and I'm looking forward today to tell you about how you make your start on pilgrimage. First, I want to begin by talking about how I started my Camino journey, and it kind of goes back a number of years now. About 7 years ago, we were trying to decide on where we should take students on our next pilgrimage routes. We'd been doing we'd been doing other pilgrimages like to Zay and Rome and some of these others for many years. And we were trying to decide what should we do now where we are in this particular situation of our ministry. What should we do for pilgrimage for students? And we decided on Camino for a few reasons. First of all, we knew that the Catholic aspects of this pilgrimage would have some appeal for some of our students, that this would be a draw for them. And so that was exciting for us to have the prospect of being able to reach a particular community of Catholic students because of the Catholic tradition of Camino de Santiago. We also knew that a lot of our students would be studying Spanish, and they would love the opportunity to be able to practice their Spanish in this kind of safe environment that Camino provides, and I imagine that may be a motivation for some of you as well. We also knew that this was going to be an appeal for pilgrims that might not make some of our other pilgrimages, to go to Rome or to go pray at Taizé, France. These require oftentimes a pretty committed religious student. Camino has an appeal to folks who are only marginally religious. Maybe they're not particularly religious themselves, but yet Camino still has this appeal because of the kind of broad spiritual audience that's connected with Camino. So we're really excited about the prospect of some folks going on pilgrimage that maybe wouldn't have in some other opportunities that we have. We also knew that the physical aspect of this pilgrimage was going to be really appealing to a lot of folks. And I imagine that some of you are thinking, man, the physical challenge to get out there and to make the walk is something that you would really be drawn to. And I've seen that for a lot of people over the years. And then the other thing is that a lot of students were telling us that they wanted an opportunity to be able to take a retreat, to be able to spend time praying and focusing on their relationship with God and connecting with their own soul in a deeper way. And so we knew that a lot of people were looking for this opportunity for retreat, for the kind of slow life that Camino provided. For me personally, I just wanted to see students growing. I wanted to see them growing in their relationship with God. I wanted to see them growing in their maturity, and that was my why. You're going to have a different why, and really your why is an important question for you. It's not one that you have to answer now. It's not one that has to be answered up front, but I'll talk about that in a minute, about how do you get to your why. Because for me, those students and their growth was my why. I had plenty of reasons I didn't want to go on Camino. For example, I was in the United States Marine Corps, and the prospect of walking and hiking every day, I thought, man, I've already gotten all the hiking in that I want in my entire life. I have no reason to go and to hike anymore. I've already done that. But for me, it was still a good decision because I had a good why. I knew why I wanted it because I wanted it for my students, and that was enough to overcome some of the reasons that I might not. And for me, and I think this is true for all, the difference between pilgrims and tourists is really important when you begin to ask your question of why. Because if you're asking why, you're beginning to be drawn to this thing for something other than your own pleasure. Tourists begin to make their trip, and really the only questions for a tourist is this a place that I'm interested in going to? Is it a place that's interesting to me? Would it be fun? Would it be fun for me? And then secondly, can I afford it? Can I afford the time? Can I afford the money? And so on. Pilgrims ask a different set of questions. Pilgrims are asking, what do I want to change in my life? How do I want to be impacted and motivated and changed by a pilgrimage? So pilgrims aren't asking about the place, they're asking about their own soul and what they want to see happen in their own life. So I spent a lot of time praying about the pilgrimage. And I really believe that when I began that trip, began that plan, that decision-making process, and I began praying for my students, I began recentering my own hopes of what I wanted for my ministry with them and my life with them, and really began to say, oh, I know what my priorities are here. When I started working through those questions, then I really began to understand my own why, and that helped me to be able to say, I'm going to make this pilgrimage. And really, the decision-making process, this struggling with whether I should make this pilgrimage, that is the first step. So my guess is if you're on this video, you've probably already begun that decision process. You probably already are looking and going, I think this might be for me. And so maybe you've already begun your pilgrimage, because that decision is the first step of your pilgrimage. The second step then is going to be to begin to plan, to begin to rearrange your life so that you can make the pilgrimage, take the vacation time, save up the finances, make the sacrifices so that you can go. So whether you're on step 1 or step 2, I believe that you are already on your pilgrimage. If you like content like this, please comment on this video, and most importantly, subscribe so that you can get more videos. I make videos about how-to content, about some gear reviews, about planning processes, so that I can help you make a great pilgrimage to Santiago.